Good morning. Having a little trouble breathing this morning, but I'm going to just trust and affirm that my lungs will wake up and feel okay. And maybe it'll even help my lungs to use them a little bit by talking. So, um, what I'm thinking about this morning, what I wanted to share my thoughts about are on the topic of rest and how rest is so important um, to nurturing the development of our resilience practices. Rest, like in training of the body, exercise, rest is an essential part of it where we are able to kind of um, incorporate the effects of all of the effort we've been putting in. And this goes for mental work, kind of mindset work, um, the having a new relationship with our own mind, the parts of our mind, and having a new tone of relationship between our mind and body. We need rest when we are practicing these things also. Um, and rest is the part where I notice for myself that sometimes I will, um, have I kind of say like mini phases or mini patterns of, like a few days I'm listening to a lot of this type of thing. I'm doing a lot of this type of thing, like exercising a lot or listening to a lot of things about the law of assumption and just kind of like mental health kind of topics, trauma, you know, so listening to these things, and then I'll go a few days listening to just silly silly fun things. And I noticed that I need it for my mental health. It's important to rest, to have breaks, and not become obsessive or have this strict feeling of needing total focus, total control, total I don't know, purity or something in order to be able to achieve our goals. We are the ones who kind of make the rules for ourselves, the circumstances under which we believe something can be done to a degree. To a degree. I'm not talking about like scientific stuff. Like, uh, like I believe I can become pregnant by just thinking. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about being able to the beliefs we have as far as what is nurturing for us, what is comfortable, how we assess. Basically, the rules by which we assess, like, can I feel safe and comfortable with how things are faring for me? Am I doing enough? Am I putting my energy in the right place? Those kinds of perennial, kind of obsessive questions that a lot of us have, especially as recovered people who have been through a lot and who are maybe hyper vigilant regarding the security of the present, of the future, and wanting maybe over overreaching a little bit in taking responsibility for our life. We can become kind of obsessive, wanting to control everything. Um, but I think it's really essential to have to let the positive efforts and practices, resilience practices, kind of meld into the rest of our lives in a way that it feels complementary and like an essential little gem, but it doesn't feel like it's like dominating our very identity and everything, every single little thing about us. Like, we don't need to be thinking about, um, you know, using so much mental energy to be double checking constantly, like, or wondering constantly, or being like assessing ourselves. Am I doing everything right? Because something we really can be doing is to be affirming that yes, things are going well, we are safe. Um, taking opportunities to affirm positive things also, and strengthening our inner relationship with ourselves in that way also, strengthening our ability to just trust sometimes and just be able to let go a little bit. And yeah, and I think it's important to remind ourselves that things are still compounding, that we aren't, especially, for me, like, I'll go a few days without walking or running. Not that I run a lot. Anyways, I just, do it a little bit to try to get my blood pumping and build my cardio health, all that. So basically, what I find myself personally thinking sometimes is like, I start getting anxious, like, oh my God, like, I haven't gone in a while. Like, am I losing the path? Am I, and you got to be cautious not to set some kind of self fulfilling prophecy in your mind, or to set yourself up with unhelpful thoughts and beliefs that aren't going to make you feel empowered. They're not going to make you feel any kind of curiosity. They're going to make you feel more stressful and shut down, and less likely probably to do whatever the thing is. Or if you do it, you might be doing it in the spirit of like, I gotta force myself, otherwise something horrible is going to happen. Like that. And that's not the feeling we're going for. We're going um we're going for everything that we do as much as possible, remembering how to nurture ourselves and our mind, and how to feel comfortable and safe. And maybe, part of that is accepting that things do feel scary sometimes, that things do feel just unpredictable, or like we don't have the right framework to gauge things or control things. I experience that even when I go on walks every morning. That's a part of the reason why I think I'll go a few days without going on a walk. And I think it's because um I can start feeling intimidated because of the mindset that I gravitate to. And it's a part of my resilience practice to be relearning and kind of excavating and just creating my own way to think about things. And I think it's because I'm focusing more on the fear instead of focusing on the excitement or the beauty or the all the good sensations and feelings. And it could be very well also that I just need to change up the scenarios. I don't really like doing the same thing every single day, going to the same place. I like variety. I like going to different places. I like, or just like, I don't know, having things feel a little bit more structured. So maybe I can try gyms where I'm just in one place. I'm in one place. I can put my little earphones in and just really feel into my bodily sensations and have it be more an enjoyable thing. Maybe that's just more my speed and I need to experiment with that more, instead of feeling, because sometimes when you go on a walk out in nature, for me at least, it can kind of excite that hypervigilant tendency of like looking all over and trying to keep track of everything and not necessarily feeling safe. And that's not very supportive to myself either if I continuously put myself in that situation unnecessarily. So, that is what's on my mind. Just how rest is so important. Rest to let everything that we've been doing kind of gel, and the thoughts and the feelings and the actions, let it just kind of settle, and know that it is having compounding effects, and not to push ourselves in a spirit of like impatience, but to find the ways that allow us to feel magnetized, that allow us to feel like drawn to, and like open-hearted towards whatever we're wanting to experience. And I think it's important to adapt for ourselves and acknowledge that feeling supported in our mind is equally as important as feeling proud that we have accomplished whatever task it is, And we have limited energy to, that kind of willpower energy where it's like I'm just going to force myself to because I have to. We have limited of that type of energy, so I don't know. For me, like, I'd rather put that towards things with work. Instead of things that are supposed to be for my pleasure, for my sustenance, for my the things that are helping me develop my resilience practices on a more personal level, like exercise. And yeah, sometimes rest doesn't have to mean stopping doing something. It can mean just changing the way in which we're doing it, resting that particular strategy. And I think that's an important skill to have while we're learning how to develop this new tone of relationship with ourselves, and the way that we motivate ourselves, the way we feel connected to our environment so that we can experience the things we want to experience. So I affirm for you that you will discover in your own ways how you can feel more connected to yourself and to your environment in ways that are just pleasant. Just pleasant. We're going for pleasantness here. There's enough challenges. We got to put a rest on the challenges and the celebrating challenges sometimes, and the celebrating like being resilient. And we got to just be like, yeah, an essential part of resilience is also like compassion and softness and comfort, and protecting ourselves from constantly being in a position of feeling challenge, because we got to give ourselves those rewards, those assurances of safety, not being in any survival mode, and the opportunities to develop new mindsets instead of just relying on forcing out of logic, So, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk soon. Take care. Bye.